Welcome to the first official Downriver Grit live stream podcast video where I talk about some local political issues. I'm not really worried about having people watch because this is all going to be recorded and put on downrivergrit.com. And let's change scenes, shall we? Okay. So today I want to talk about an article that I read just the other night on Joe Palamara. I hope that's how you pronounce his name. He's my city's county commissioner. He represents a number of downriver cities, actually. And I'm just going to read this article and maybe let's share some laughs along the way because this is pretty dumb. I think this is so dumb. Just the mess that downriver is in as an area, and it's all leaking in here from Detroit. I'm finding the more research I do, a lot of this stems from Kwame Kilpatrick and his corruption, and it's just been leaking and echoing throughout all this area for near like 15 years. So here's the article. Double duty. Wayne County politician is also a lobbyist. Great. And this is by Brian Allnut. Shout out to him for writing this article. One of the reasons why I'm doing this too is because I thought I'm just going to write my own articles, but there's people who've been talking about this for years. They've been talking about this for a long time, and people aren't hearing it. We don't hear anything about local politics. I mean, and I'm going to show you later on, like this guy won the election. He's a lobbyist for two different companies. He's a lobbyist for Crown Enterprises, which is a widely hated corporation that has a very bad track record of exploiting Detroit. And then he's also a lobbyist for what is it? Karoub, which is a lobbying firm. So he's a registered lobbyist for Karoub. So he's a lobbyist for a lobbying firm. Like, I mean, it's just keep on lobbying everything. Anyways, let me read this article. In 2017, Joe Palamara, Wayne County Commissioner for the 15th District that includes Trenton, Gibraltar, Wyandotte, and several other downriver communities, abstained from an important vote on the sale of the former McLeod Steel site in Trenton to Manuel Matty Maroon's Crown Enterprises. This was an important decision that will affect over a mile of riverfront and potentially shape the future of the region for generations to come. Palamara cited a conflict of interest, which is not uncommon in politics, and struck a noble tone when commenting on his absentation. I wanted to avoid, quote, I want to avoid the hint or remote appearance of conflict. I could not, and ultimately did not vote for them. What a hero. I really love how even if he's a lobbyist for two companies, right? Even he's doing that, he's still trying to like posture himself as this honorable person. Why are you here? I just think there's no reason for you to be here. But I'm going to keep reading, though. The recusal did Maroon no favors, effectively counting as a no, although the 11-3 vote approved the purchase. Yet some found the source of the conflict troubling because, in addition to being a commissioner, Palamara is also a registered lobbyist with Karoub Associates, a powerful Michigan lobbying firm whose work entails influencing lawmakers like Palamara himself. Among others, Karoub represents Maroon's holding company, Centra, and businesses like DTE and 3M. Although abstaining may have been Palamara's best choice, it also denied his district of 120,000 people representation on a crucial vote that affected them directly. But ultimately did not matter because it was an 11-3 vote. So why do these people vote in favor of this? That's another question to explore. Karoub's long list of clients means there could be more conflict for Palamara. For more troubling is Karoub's representation of both the Wayne County Executive and the Wayne County Commission. This means that Palamara's work as a member of the legislative branch is potentially compromised every day he comes to work by the firm's representation of the executive. Sounds awesome. I find it more plausible that he could manage the conflict with Matty Maroon than the one involving the county executive and the county commission. He's in the middle of that, John Chamberlain, professor of political science and public policy at University of Michigan, says. Though the situation looks highly suspect, none of this is illegal. It underscores Michigan's woefully inadequate campaign finance and lobbying laws. That's really the basic kind of thread I hear here is there's all this corruption, like brazen corruption just going on all over the place, and no one's doing anything about it. It's all, a lot of this legal. They're working within the system. They're playing the rules, and it just happens. I'll show you some more stuff that I looked at, There's no restriction on something like this that I'm aware of, Mark Brewer, former chair of the Michigan Democratic Party, says. Indeed, Palamara seems to have done what is required to report these and other conflicts. He has filed a conflict of interest disclosure. He's filed conflict of interest disclosures with Wayne County for at least every year since 2013. What a good boy. On the most recent form, he listed his affiliation with Karoub along with his son and daughter's employment with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan and his position on the board of Michigan Association of Counties Service Corporation. But the form doesn't require him to show how much money he is making at Karoub beyond $500. Cool. Or who his clients are specifically. Palamara also did not share that information with Deadline Detroit. Patricia Hartig, the former mayor of Trenton who unsuccessfully ran for Palamara's seat on the commission in 2016, says Palamara's ties prevent him from properly doing his job, which entails holding the county executive accountable. Quote, he in particular has a personal financial reason to not have any checks over the executive, she said. The Wayne County Executive's office did not comment when asked about Palamara's work at the Karoub firm. Palamara earns about $70,000 per year as a commissioner and will receive a lifetime pension of $33,600. The gig is part-time. Of his dual duties, he says, it's all about transparency, and I've been transparent since day one. One thing that stuck out to me about this whole article is like the weird, like he's so good at just like sounding so nice, because he has been transparent. It's all true. The lie is like nestled within like a little circle of truth. It's all about transparency, and I've been transparent since day one. What a hero. What a hero, because he has disclosed it. It's just no one notices it because it's not widely reported on or read about. I didn't know about this, and he's been in the seats, I think, for like 20 years? He's been in here for a while, and he keeps getting reelected. But it's tough to tell what that means. Back to the article. In Michigan politics, where transparency and reporting requirements for lawmakers are often lacking. Michigan has some of the worst ethics and transparency rankings in the country, Sam Inglot, who works on lobbying reform with nonprofit Progress Michigan. He says, and a lot of what has to do with the fact that we know so little about the interactions between lawmakers and lobbyists. That is indeed true. Having a lawmaker who is actually a lobbyist seems to only magnify the issue. Progress Michigan's proposal to make lobbyists identify their clients would at least let us know who Palamara represents for his firm. However, even that requirement would only tell us so much. By playing on the same team as all the other lobbyists at Karoub, Palamara's paycheck is effectively tied to all their clients as well. Former state legislator and co-director of Michigan State University's Michigan Political Leadership Program, Steve Tobokman, doesn't see this case as so different from other conflicts of interest in Michigan. Quote, I would argue that we don't have the right laws, and that's not specific to Joe Palamara, he says. That's not specific to Michigan and many of our local communities. We don't have the right laws. That's pretty obvious to me. Palamara believes that it's up to voters to decide if his roles as commissioner and lobbyist are compatible. The people of my district are well aware of what I do, he says. They've made an informed vote. Once again, these quotes really stuck out to me because it's such like this slimy double talk. The people of my district are well aware of what I do. Well, he's disclosed it, but they still voted for it. I don't know why, but I think it's because there's a widespread ignorance going on. I think anyone who truly understands what's happening here, and it's obvious that he's corrupt. I mean, he can kind of dance around the issue and sound nice all he wants, but I just, there's no reason. There's so many other people who could do this job that aren't a lobbyist. You don't like, and you have to think like, yeah. So moreover, he characterizes this as old news. It's old news. Don't worry about it. This is true in the sense that he's been on the Wayne County Commission since 1999. Yes, there we go. For over 20 years, he's been on the Wayne County Commission. After serving in the Michigan House of Representatives for 13 years, and he's worked as a lobbyist for most of his time on the commission. Yet, although his lobbying work and ties to the Maroon have been criticized by downriver papers like the News Herald, his conflict of Wayne County government has received little attention. Nor do his colleagues seem to want to call him out on it. Several mayors and state representatives declined to comment for this article. Awesome. Quote, Republicans are going to stick with Trump no matter what, Hartig says of the situation, and it's almost like the Democrats here will stick with Joe no matter what, even though they all agree that what he's doing is wrong. Interesting stuff there. It's just so, like, one thing I've kind of been encountering with the local politics is like the national level politics and the party politics really does trickle down into the local community. Because that last quote right there, Democrats here will stick with Joe no matter what, even though they all agree with what he's doing is wrong, because they're probably never Trumpers. They just don't want to cede that territory, because there is not just, because it's pretty clear he shouldn't be here. He needs to go. But you don't want to see that territory because there's these deeper value-based arguments going on. I just find it funny. It's like these words he says, and let's go into what does he actually represent? Let me make sure the screen's all working and everything. Hopefully on the technical end it all is working good for anyone who's watching this. So what do he represent? He represents Ecorse, Gibraltar, Groseal Township, River Rouge, Riverview, Southgate, Trenton, and Wyandotte. And all these people, for all these years, 20 years, have just kept voting for him again. What's another thing? Here's what I want to look at. I find this particularly kind of funny because, once again, so here's the election results, and he almost, he had some kind of meaningful competition, right? There is something here, this guy almost, it was quite a loss, but it wasn't meaningless. But like, when I watched this guy's campaign video on YouTube, I just thought like it was so, I don't know. There's something about it that's so like, this is his video. This is his video, right? It's the most dry, boring, uninteresting thing I've ever seen. So I'm going to put on some headphones and watch this video.
Hi, Downriver. Patrick O'Connell, running for Wayne County Commissioner, District 15. During these pandemic times, I know we need to work hard together to recover our economy. And I will make that promise to you to work hard for our community to see that we get back on the right track. Vote November 3rd, Patrick O'Connell, Wayne County Commissioner. Thank you.
There you go. That's him right there. That was super boring, and I just feel like of course it's a politician. He's gonna be kind of boring or whatever, but like, I just read this article and it's like this is the irony of it is so potent to me, because you didn't say anything in there. And in the description, it does say, Mr. O'Connell's fresh perspective has no hidden agenda or lobbyist ties. I don't have any way of proving that, but I would be willing to bet that he's not as corrupt as Joe Palamara, who's been in here for over 20 years. And that's the only time he even mentions the lobbyist thing. And he doesn't even mention him by name. I feel like you should just shoot from the hip and be like, look, this guy has been here for 20 years. He's a lobbyist. He's working as a lobbyist his entire life, and he's got to go. And maybe that's too heated and controversial for the world of politics. People don't really want to hear that. It sounds nasty, right? But like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This guy should get torn into every day. Like, and what does he even do? Like, where did he even go? Let me look at, where did he even go to school? What is this guy? Vice Chair of the Wayne County Commission, a lifelong resident of the Downriver area. He is a 1971 graduate of Wyandotte Roosevelt High School. He attended Michigan State University in an Evans Caddy Scholarship. In 1975, he graduated with a Bachelor's of Arts degree in business. Okay, so he's a businessman, or he graduated in business. He received his Juris Doctorate degree from the Detroit College of Law and has been licensed to practice law in Michigan for more than 30 years. Oh, so he's a lawyer. I wish, can someone correct me? Like, am I being too extreme about like my criticism of this guy? Has he done anything of value? Like, what has he done? Is there any actual accomplishment? Is there any sort of like indication in the position of county commissioner that like maybe there's like some sort of talent or skill that he has that would make him fit for the job? Because I don't understand why a lawyer is in that position. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But he's there. He served a bunch of terms. Yeah. Anyways, just felt like I'll do the first Downriver Grit podcast, ripping into this guy for a second, and just letting you know that looks like this guy sucks, and maybe he should get voted out. That's the last thing I wanted to look at. Is, let's see, there is, in my city of Trenton, there is an opportunity. It looks like, I don't know if you can actually vote him out in November. There is an election coming up in November for the mayor and 3 city council positions. I'm having trouble finding information to see if you can actually vote for someone else as the county commissioner. I think, given that there's just an election for him last year in November, I would imagine that's not the case. So, because of, I would say, ignorance, he's just here for another period of time. Just this guy who I don't see anything of value in what he does. Why is he here? Anyways, that's all I have to really say, I guess. Have a good day, and I hope you enjoyed tuning into the first Downriver Grit podcast. Goodbye.